Common trademark beliefs that can hurt your business. Number 2, my trademark is perfect because it describes my service, and I want to protect it so nobody can copy my service. The first problem is that protecting the name does not prevent others from copying your service. It just prevents them from calling their service something similar to yours, which in itself is useful, but just remember, it doesn't prevent them from actually copying what you're doing. It just, trademarks protect branding. Second issue is that people have the right to use common words to describe their business. All of us do. So as long as we're not infringing others' trademarks, and we have the right to use common descriptive words to describe what we're doing. So if your trademark does nothing more than tell your customers what you do and where you do it, that is going to be very difficult for you to enforce as a trademark. And when I say difficult, I mean expensive, but also, it's an uphill battle the whole way. Because if, for example, if you are running a bookshop in Doylestown, other people who want to run a bookshop in Doylestown have the right to use the word bookshop, and they have the right to use the word Doylestown. So it puts you in a position where you're tying all your brand recognition, all your goodwill to this name that you then, but you can't stop others from using those words. So this is why I say it gives you an uphill battle the whole way, because it's going to be a lot more costly and difficult to protect, to prevent others from using that name, which is the whole point of trademarks. You want to choose something that's more unique, that you can keep unique, because what happens is, as more people start using those words, if you don't go after them, then you eventually have lost your trademark. That was last week's video. So you can't really ignore it either. So it just chips away at your trademark rights. So choose something more imaginative, more unique. So the next, so we talked about that. Descriptive marks are much more costly to register and enforce. Those are all legal reasons why you want to choose less descriptive trademarks, but there are also a couple of branding reasons. And if you talk to any brand professional, which I encourage you to do, they will, I'm sure, echo these sentiments. So one, they can be limiting. So if let's say you have your Doylestown bookshop, you are doing a wonderful service there, everybody loves it, and so you want to take that goodwill and open up another adjoining place in neighboring Ambler, for example. Well, you're not going to call it Doylestown Bookshop. That would be strange. So you can see how by adopting that name Doylestown Bookshop as your trademark, it makes it very difficult for you to sort of port that goodwill to another place. Same thing if you wanted to start, having a Doylestown bookshop that wasn't just a bookshop. Of course, the Doylestown bookshop is a wonderful place. It is not just a bookshop, and we know that if we know the Doylestown bookshop. But the point being that when you choose a very, very descriptive name, it is limiting to your future potential. And so, for example, if it were called the Firefly Bookshop, if I'm familiar with that place in Doylestown and I love it, and I'm driving through Ambler or Chadsford and I see Firefly Bookshop, I'm probably going to say, oh, look, I didn't know they had one here. And I'm much more likely to go in if I love the store because I know what to expect. This is the power of a strong brand. And this is why you want to choose something that's protectable. It gives you all this potential for future revenue from scaling that reputation that you're investing in. So, and then the kind of related issue is that strong brands are those which connect with imagination and some kind of emotional connection with your ideal customer. So if your brand is just the facts, Doylestown Bookshop, German auto repair, Doylestown, those are much less memorable because they don't connect. They just connect with the rational brain. And so they become sort of interchangeable, so you're like, it's something like German auto mechanic Doylestown or Doylestown German auto repair. They're just not that memorable. So, and again, if there are 5 places that use the words German auto repair Doylestown in Doylestown, then whoever you're telling to go to, they're not going to know which one is the one that you are recommending. So again, I highly encourage you to avoid super hyper descriptive trademarks that cost you a lot more to enforce and ultimately may fail. Choose something that's unique, that requires some imagination, and you will not regret it. Catherine Cavella, IP Works Law.